So I ended up selling my Volvo 960 for a number of reasons, and then I replaced it with a different car of similar stature. But I just want to go over the reasons why I sold the 960. There were a few different things, and I just feel like I had hit a ceiling with that build, and I was happy with where it was and just kind of wanted to sell it to somebody who was just going to leave it like that as a nice daily and not go any further with it. The reasons I wanted to get rid of it is I believe it needed an LSD, so I had to buy an LSD for $1,500. It needed all the rear bushings replaced, which is like a $1,300 kit for the poly bushings. I didn't even look into OEM bushings. I'm pretty sure they're just as hard and expensive to get. A 315 diff would have been pretty necessary if you wanted to drive it on the highway at all. And the rear end was just so proprietary because it was only available for those few years with the leaf spring. I would have felt a lot safer if it had a Nivomat transverse leaf, so you didn't have to cut it out. But I feel like that's just something I would have had to address a couple years down the road, like just having the coils in there with no Nivomat. It just weirded me out a little bit. It's probably fine as a street car, but I kind of wanted to go in the direction of drifting, and I really didn't want to ruin that car. And the front end is, the bottom is Volvo 850, the top is Volvo 940, the rear end is like from 95 to 97 only. You have to get a specific diff. Like there's just a bunch of things where if you wanted to put an angle kit on, if you wanted to get better coilovers, it's just a nightmare. So super cool car as it sits, as a street car. I didn't want to take it any further, so I ended up selling it yesterday to a local person, 18-year-old, for his first car. That's a pretty freaking sweet first car. I just wanted to go over how much the car cost in total. So I bought the car originally from a farm for $1,600. These are all Canadian prices, for $1,600, which was a pretty sweet deal. I redid the whole front end, all like the control arms, every arm bushing, for $370. I got the whole thing tinted, which was $380. I bought Tevies from a scrapyard, which were $500 for 5 wheels. And then I got new front tires and just ran the older rear tires, so that was another $225. The classic Swede kind of base model suspension was $1,750 by the time I got here. Shipping and duty was like $700 of that, which is crazy. I had to replace the rear sway bar, which was $250. Random fluids, $100. Brakes all around were $220, super cheap. And then I paid $750 for the parts BMW to do the trans swaps, to pull the transmission and clutch and everything out of that. But I ended up selling everything off that car for $2,000, so that was a positive $1,350, I think. And then the PMC transmission adapter kit was $1,200. E-brake cables, that e-brake was a nightmare. I spent $200 on e-brake cables. Drive shaft, custom drive shaft was $180. Exhaust manifold, $265. Getting the exhaust piping, $250. ECU chip was $550 from Fezken for the E85 ECU chip with the cat delete and the O2 sensor delete. Tire ends were another $100. Clutch pedal $150. Clutch master $130. Trans bushings $80. Wheel spacers to get those front wheel drive wheels on without hitting the struts were $140. New engine, $1,000. That one sucked, but ended up being a new engine or a rebuilt engine, so that's sweet. Flex plate and starter for that were required for that adapter plate. So you needed an S80 flex plate and starter to run that PMC adapter kit. $250. Engine mounts $200. The early model cams were $300, and the sway bar end links I just put in before I sold the car, some super beefy adjustable ones, were $150. So that is a total of $88.40 spent on the car, which is a lot less than I thought. I thought for 11 or 12. I ended up selling the car for 9, so kind of came out unscathed. Hopefully it's onto a new home and doesn't get driven right into a wall. And then I picked up a new car. It was $2,500, which was probably a little much, but I bought it from a Volvo dealership in Victoria. And the paint's not as nice as advertised. It's not near as nice of a car as the 960, but it is 3,000 pounds, turbo, 1991. and probably just a better platform. It has a leaking manifold, so one of the head studs is broken, so I've already fixed that, but you'll see. And it's almost the same color. It's a 91 940 turbo with the world's ugliest headlights. Hopefully I can swap those out for either 740 headlights or E-codes. Plates are off. Going to a new home. God damn, that thing is nice. I'm just driving home from Victoria, which is where I picked up this 1991 940 turbo. It's kind of a cool green color, similar to my 960, but a little more teal. I put a post out on a local Volvo group, and I guess some guy had a connect with the Volvo dealership in Victoria here on Vancouver Island. They had a trade-in car that they were wholesaling, so I ended up getting this for $1,800 plus fees. It was $2,500 out the door, 280 kilometers. Pretty nice spec. These cars are quite a bit lighter, so they're 3,000 pounds instead of my 960 being 3,500 pounds. So stoked on the weight on these. So this will have a 13 mil block, turbo, red block, which is sick. It's got a nasty manifold leak right now. I think one of the manifold studs is loose, but it sounds like a tractor and has no boost pressure. But aside from that, the body's pretty clean. There's one thing that made me almost not buy it. The front bumper, I guess, has been knocked over. It's like over half an inch. I hope I can fix it, because that's gonna drive me mental. And then the paint, I don't know if there's sap on it or whatever, but I'll definitely be taking it to a detailer right away just to get it all, make sure it's all mint before I dump a bunch of money into it. But I think it should be a good candidate with more accessible parts for this thing. So we'll see how the process goes. Okay, so here it is. 91 940 turbo. Wheels are freaking awesome. Brand new snow tires. Super grippy. There's a few things with the paint like that, which I mean hopefully could get touched up, but they're not a huge deal. It's like one or two small dents. Overall paint's sweet, color wise. Pretty good. This thing was maintained at a Volvo dealership every 6 months for its whole life until the day it was traded in. And then the biggest issue that made me almost not buy it is the bumper. I guess it's been knocked over this way. I mean, hopefully I can knock it back or take it off or replace it and make it mint, but that, and then it sat outside for a while, and I don't know if the clear coat is good or if it can be waxed out, but that'll kind of be a deciding factor on if I keep it, because I'd like it to be nice. And then this is the money zone. Thick rod B230 FT with LH 2.4. Let's freaking wash this puppy up. Exhaust stud Yeah, it's got a gnarly leak coming out of there. Let's have a listen. Big leak. All right. Want to fix this gasket here. So this stud is snapped, so I'm gonna have to, you know, do that old maneuver. That was a huge pain to get all this off. This, the turbo stud for the downpipe was seized on, so it had to get cut off. So we got it all off in one unit here. I have new manifold gaskets. I have a 15G turbo. We'll see how easy it is to just slap on there, but mostly just want the gasket sealed because this thing sounds like shit. So we're gonna get all that back together and see how she drives. All right, I got some extractor bits. We're gonna go to town on this. I've never had a successful extraction session, so we'll see. Right on. Extractor bit just broke off inside. Extractors are a freaking gimmick. Never had one work. I don't know if this head's toast or not now, I don't know. All right, I was able to drill it. Hopefully I can tap it. I'm gonna try and tap it and hopefully there's enough to hold. All right, I think it's good. Ideal. Okay, we got fresh gaskets on my botched hole. This stud broke off, which sucks, a huge bag of dicks, but I managed to get this off, no problem, so we can try and slap the manifold back on permanently. Okay, I think we're cooking. Don't like you. This thing's pooched. Started extracting and then snapped halfway, and then I can't drill through it. F it. Found this 16T in my buddy's kitchen. Toss that on. Update number 463. 16T, hot side on. Everything's on. This flange is different than this one, so I'm gonna have to get this turbo's off an 850R, so I'll have to get an 850R thing to connect the downpipe. The turbo is clocked. I'm just gonna put this braided drain line on just for ease of install. And then I just need to get this over here. I don't know if I'm gonna just order the Yosha Fab one or make one, I don't know. We'll see. All right, we're all back together. Just need downpipe and wastegate mount. But we may as well fire it up, see if it works, and exhaust leaks. Okay, I'm just gonna attempt to make a bracket for this wastegate. I'm going super OEM spec. By that I mean I didn't even clean it. Who frickin' needs it? I guess I don't need this. Take that off and then try and fab up a little. Oh, that's gonna be hard. Huh, all right. All right, she's back together. I'm really embracing the Ghetto with this build. I need a longer one of these. I just have the wastegate hooked onto that vacuum line there, and it seems to be holding in place. I know that's absolutely friggin' frigged, but I'm waiting for this downpipe flange to weld that back on, and then I'll get rid of the cat. But I just kind of want to drive this thing around for a while and see if it's good. After I fix this stud, I just want to see if the engine's all good. So I'm probably just going to order the wastegate relocation bracket from Luca Car Mods, but we're just going to run it like this, baby. Turbo Brick special. All right, so we just have the sloppy wastegate set up. I think check engine light's on because of the O2 sensor, but this is hilarious. This thing shreds. I mean, it's a little mad because wastegate injectors, everything, but this is hilarious.
think that's about it for this video. The test drive is hilarious. I'm getting a fuel cut, obviously, because I got a sketch ass wastegate. So I've ordered 650 injectors, wastegate bracket, downpipe bracket. I have a 3-inch MAF, and then I just need a boost controller, and I think that should be good for. And I should probably have an air fuel ratio gauge with a boost gauge, and then we're just gonna run that for a while and see how she parties. The piston slap is pretty aggressive. I might look into see if they can put some new hushers on there. And I mean, if the cam's off, then that means you can put a different cam in.